One of the most highly anticipated football seasons in recent Texas Tech football memory is set to kick off in 2023. And in today's video, I will give my 5 bold predictions for Texas Tech football in 2023. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And listen, today's video is going to be fun. I want y'all to just potentially agree with me down in the comments, rip me apart in terms of RC. These predictions aren't bold enough. Scale of 1 to 10 it down in the comments below. But first, before I even get into my first bold prediction, I want to hear yours. Respond to the pinned comment below your biggest bold prediction and your one bold prediction for Texas Tech football this season. Again, it's got to be bold. Bold is relative, but let me know yours down in the comments below. All right, we're starting this off with one that, if you follow me on Twitter, which you absolutely should, you probably know just how much I liked the pickup of Steve Linton from Syracuse via the transfer portal. And this should come as no surprise to anybody. I have Steve Linton leading the Big 12 in sacks with 12 plus sacks. And I've got some notes down here just to make sure I've got this right in terms of not missing a point when it comes to the potential that Steve Linton has, right? He's versatile on the D-line. If you go watch his tape at Syracuse, he played in 3 techniques: stand up, inside, outside, drop back into coverage. He did it all, right, for the Orange up there in Syracuse. And now he gets to go to a school that has arguably one of the best developers of talent when it comes to edge rushers in Tim DeRuyter, and Coach Finch ain't too bad at it either. Hashtag QB hunters, right? But when it comes down to it, do I think Steve Linton will be as good as Tyree Wilson is? Probably not, right? It's hard to have expectations of him being as good as a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. I do think he'll have better opportunities. And what I mean by that is I don't think Steve Linton is going to see near as many doubles because the talent around him is greater than what Tyree had last year. And that's not a knock on those guys. Texas Tech just went out and addressed the need, right? And now they have guys healthy. You've got Miles Cole. You got Josiah Pierre at the Mike linebacker that also has experience rushing the passer. You got Isaac Smith, obviously Steve Linton. You've got Joseph Adedire, right? Like you've got guys in, the 2 horses in the middle in Bradford and Hutchings, right? You've got guys around him for him to excel. And even with doubles, he has proven to get to the quarterback. I think Steve Linton leads the Big 12 next season in sacks with 12, if not more. And personally, looking at him and his stature, I think he could have a Pete Robertson 2014 type season where he was just an absolute dog for the Red Raiders. Go check out those stats. I think Steve Linton can have that type of year for the Red Raiders. All right, that was number 1. My number 2 bold prediction for 2023 when it comes to Texas Tech football, it's around QB1. Tyler Shuck will throw/run for a combined 35-plus touchdowns. Listen, when it comes down to Tyler Shuck, it's health, right? Like health is the only thing that is stopping him from being an absolute star at the collegiate level, right? He's an intelligent quarterback. And really, you look at his stats, he's 8-1 as a starter for Texas Tech, right? In the games he started and finished, he's 8-1, right? He ended the season 4-0 last year, went on a run, won up in Ames in an absolute ugly football game, 14-10 up in Ames. And then he proved to you, I can beat you in a shootout too, whether that was against Oklahoma or Ole Miss in the bowl game, right? This is the first time in his college career that he will have the same OC in back-to-back seasons. And it helps when it's a guy like Zach Kittley, who is regarded as one of the best offensive minds in college football, right? The last quarterback to have 35-plus total touchdowns in a season was Patrick Mahomes when he had 53. Do I think Tyler Shuck is going to have a Patrick Mahomes type season from 2016? No, that would be ridiculous for me to say. But 35-plus touchdowns is not out of the realm of possibilities when you consider what has gotten better around Tyler Shuck, mainly the offensive line, right? Got a better offensive line. The wide receivers are going to be better. There's a lot more depth there and big playmaking potential, whether that's with King or the transfer in from Austin Peay, right? Like you've got guys that can make big plays for you now and space out and get those intermediate routes a little bit more space for Tyler Shuck, where he is just methodical, right? I truly think that this can happen. But when it comes down to it, Tyler Shuck, when he's healthy, is one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. The big thing there is health. If he is healthy, he will be one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. And I think 35 is probably a little bit conservative, but I do think health is a big thing, as everybody does. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on Texas Tech football all year long. Going to have a lot more content with Lyle. He's going to be having some film breakdowns on the channel after he gets back from vacation this summer. And then we're going to start our position previews when it comes to 2023 with the quarterbacks, running backs, all of the above. We'll break down every position group here on the channel, leading you up to kickoff up in Laramie, Wyoming in early September. So be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on Texas Tech football all year long right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, let's get into number 3 now. And that revolves around one of the best DBs in the Big 12, and it's Malik Dunlap. I think he will make an All-American team next season for the Red Raiders. And listen, before he got hurt versus Iowa State, he was one of the leaders in the country in pass breakups and deflections, right? He's an older DB, and I think that is good for him in terms of his experience and his size. Remember, he's a big corner, right? 6'3", 6'4", big dude on the outside. Him and Rashad Williams play opposite of each other really, really well. But what I think it comes down to is we don't know the health status of Rashad Williams. We hope he's healthy going into week 1, and I think he probably should be after his sports hernia surgery. But I think Malik Dunlap takes a serious leap and gets into NFL draft conversation next year, whether that's in the 5th, 6th round, whatever it may be. He's one of the premier defenders on the outside in the Big 12. He's going to be tested because it's the Big 12, but teams have learned the hard way, do not test Malik Dunlap. They're going to do it anyway just because it's the Big 12, right? But he's going to make teams pay, and I truly think he gets on an All-American team next season for the Red Raiders. All right, let's get to the 4th bold prediction, and it's an interesting one. I'm sure there's going to be somebody in the comments saying, RC, how do you expect Tyler Shuck to have 35-plus touchdowns and then Taj Brooks to have 10? It's Zach Kittley offense, baby, right? But when you look at Taj Brooks, it's his backfield now, right? Like you got Cameron Valdez back there. You've got Bryson Donnell as well. You've got some guys back there. But listen, SaRodorick Thompson's gone. This is the first time in 5 years there will not be a backfield consisting of SaRodorick Thompson for Texas Tech. Have no fear, Taj Brooks is there, right? Taj Brooks is a dude. He is a bell cow running back in every sense of the word. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. 3 downs, he can do it all between the tackles, outside, it doesn't matter, right? He's going to get a majority of the work. And behind a much improved offensive line, I think Taj Brooks takes a serious leap forward. Remember, it was around 700 yards last year, just below it in terms of rushing for him. I think he takes a serious leap. He's the guy. I think he probably gets in the neighborhood of 65% of the carries if he's healthy, and that leads to the first 1,000-yard rushing season for Texas Tech football since, well, you probably have heard of this guy, DeAndre Washington in 2015, when DeAndre Washington almost ran for 1,500 yards. Do I think he has that kind of season? No, but he will get over 1,000 yards this season, I think Taj Brooks will. Maybe that's not too bold, but add in the 10 TDs, let's do it. All right, the last one is probably the one that I think people will be most excited for because, well, it revolves around the team. And I'm not sure how bold it is. Let me know down in the comments. But I think Texas Tech will play in Arlington for the Big 12 title. I think they will play more specifically Kansas State for the Big 12 title, right? This is one of those things when you look at a roster like Texas Tech right now, who is returning 18 of 22 starters, you're older. You have the same OC and DC. You went out and pinpointed your needs in the portal. You got better on the offensive line. You got more depth on the D-line. Got a talented QB room, right? 5th-year starting quarterback and a guy in Baron Morton, if needed, can come in and has proven that he can win in the Big 12, right? You could get off to a 4-1, 5-0 start depending on how that Oregon game goes. There's a lot of things for Texas Tech in their favor, and I think most importantly of all is this. You got a guy in Joey McGuire that everybody believes in, that has proven it, right? Everybody in that program believes in Joey McGuire, and I know that Joey McGuire will say, oh, I don't go out there and win the games or anything like that. That's the players. He's 100% right, right? But there's also something to having that firm belief in every time you go out on the football field, you're going to win. And the experience factor, being there, have done that, gone into the trenches, have gone to war with those guys per se on the gridiron, right? You've got everything going for you this season if you're Texas Tech, right? And if Tyler Shuck stays healthy, this offensive line is improved like I think it will be. That defense is deep at every position, right? You've got some question marks at linebacker, but I think you've got enough depth there to figure it out, right? You've got everything going for you. Again, 18 of 22 starters returning for Texas Tech. This will be the year that Texas Tech plays for the Big 12 title right down the road for me in Jerry World at Cowboy Stadium, and I think they'll do it against the Kansas State Wildcats. All right, let me know, do you agree or disagree with any of my bold predictions? Were they not bold enough? Like, let me know down in the comments below, and then I also want to hear from you one more time, okay? What is your one bold prediction for Texas Tech football in 2023? Let me know on the pinned comment down below. I am RC Maxfield reminding you, if you want the latest news in Texas Tech football all year long, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button to stay in the know right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.